Okay, so we're beginning our the Amerature for our clay sculpture head, a clay bust. And so this is how we're going to begin it. You're going to get a board. I have boards that are pre-drilled, ready for a dowel. Put the dowel in with this plastic piece over the top. This is going to help keep your sculpture moist. Our first step also is to get some newspapers. Get the large folded out pieces, 2 pieces at a time, roll them up diagonally to get some long pieces of newspaper. And you're going to put this in and soak these in a bucket of water. So fill your bucket with water and have those ready there. Now you're going to, this wet newspaper is going to be on the inside of your sculpture, and it's going to keep it moist. And I would also kind of twist the ends together so that they all are one long piece of newspaper. Technically, when we pull these all out, it will keep it moist as well as it'll all come out in one piece. That's the intent anyway. It doesn't always happen that way, but that's okay. All right, you're going to get about 3 pieces of clay that are about grapefruit size, and you're going to pinch them out into a pinch pot type shape and begin to sculpt, kind of make the beginning parts of this sculpture. Now this is not pretty at first. It's a little awkward, it's a little rough at first, but that's all right. We're going to be working on it. So here is the beginnings and your shoulders. And you're going to kind of find the ends to that, pull that through, and then add more to the necks and shoulders. I'm going to open that up just a little bit more. You don't want this opening too small, as we will be kind of adding to our sculpture, and it may make it thicker. So once we pull out newspapers, we're actually going to probably take away some of the interior of this sculpture in order so that it's not too thick when it comes to firing. All right, now you need some pretty good size coil to make a neck. And if you can see my diagram here on the board, it kind of shows what we're doing here. The board, the plastic barrier, wet roll, pinch pot. Now one very long coil to kind of create the neck. And score, slip, and add. And then from there, we're going to add another pinch pot for the lower portion of the head. Pinch that out, a nice shape, basically half of a globe shape, and add that to the neck. Poke a hole in the bottom. And I'm working with pretty soft clay, so that will actually help us mold it together and blend it all together. Like I mentioned, it's not beautiful at first. And you want at least 1 final and maybe 2 final pieces of newspaper inside the head to ensure that it stays moist through the time. Sometimes when I do this project, it takes us a good several weeks of working with the clay and getting it done that way. All right, another pinch pot, or another coil, I should say, and join them inside and outside. Add the final newspaper, and then another pinch pot. This one here I made, it's a little bit smaller. You kind of want, like I mentioned, 2 grapefruit size pieces. Now, if you find the stick is too tall, it's poking through, we can shorten those. The stick is probably about 8 inches, but maybe it needs to be a little smaller in some cases. And in my experience, some students make a pretty small sculpture and some make a lot larger ones. So it may just depend on what you end up with size-wise. All right, so now we are basically just trying to get the shape at first, not worrying about the details. You may end up finding that you bring out the shoulders just a little bit more. Or, you know, making more, adding some hair, kind of that kind of thing. So right now we're just working on the skull shape. So a lot of times with the skull shape, you have a bit more chin in the front, jawline and chin that you want to add a layer of clay to, as well as in the back of the head, you have a bit of skull there. So you're going to blend that in. Now, like I mentioned, it's not beautiful at first, but that is the part that we go about sculpting and doing the work at. Like I have one big shoulder and one not so big shoulder, so we're going to work on that a little bit. All right, use your hands, thumbs, best tools you have available to kind of blend that in and shape it. You might at some point even get a paddle and kind of get it shaped. Use this rib to also kind of get the shape that you're after. Let me find the paddle. It's a little sticky, pretty wet clay. Sculpt. You end up, you find that you have some area that's a little heavier than others. You can still kind of work it, sculpt it, mold it. In classroom, I will have handouts for you to look at examples of mouths and noses and how to sculpt eyes and things like that, as well as videos available in classroom on how to sculpt this. But initially, we just want to get head and shoulders and kind of the general shape, and then we'll go from there. All right, happy sculpting.